here's something that I wanted to relate to you this evening. The progressives that are in charge of the leading social media outlets are bound and determined not to have another Trump. James O'Keefe and Project Veritas exposes some Google executives as much as saying so, that they have taken it as their mission to prevent another Trump from happening, because they believe that that was the worst thing that possible that could have happened, and they are taking it on themselves as a corporation to prevent it from happening again, which means they are trying to thwart the will of a duly elected president. I'm not sure why Google will choose to interfere with the election of a duly elected president. I'm not sure why they would do that, other than to push a political agenda. That is really the most amazing part. Is against the sensibilities of half their customer base. But it seems to me that the agenda is more important than everything else. And what they're sure of is that they're not going to lose anything. They're not really afraid of losing customers. They're not afraid of losing, money from advertising. They're not afraid of losing anything, because frankly, they've got us all hooked on their drug. It's like the drug dealer that occasionally, slaps you upside the head, calls your name, gives you bad drugs, but you're so hooked, you don't have a choice. That's Google, and frankly, they're correct. We have to understand that Google is the number one website in the world, and YouTube, which is owned by Google, is the second most popular search engine in the world. And Google has in my mind replaced the gatekeeper that we talked about from old media, the newspaper editor, the programming editor from the television stations. Google has pretty much inserted themselves into that and can decide, using direct manipulation or manipulation of their AI and machine learning tools, to pretty much push what people are searching for or finding in their searches any way that they choose. And this is what's happening. You wonder why certain conservative voices have gone away. I can tell you for a fact they haven't gone away. I can tell you for a fact that they have been shadow banned, that they have been throttled, that the searches have been harder and harder to find for them, and it's because of machine learning and the Google AI, which is the YouTube AI as well. So this is what's happening. And of course, their little brother, Facebook, is right along with them in the same vein as is Twitter. So, what can we do? This is the most important thing. What can we do? Well, my solution is to go back. It's about going back channel. We're going to have to go back channel. We're going to have to resort to email, texting, and websites. Now, websites are still going to be hard to find because Google is going to again be able to change or change how people search for you, which is why the direct marketing approach is back channel, and it's going to be very, very important moving forward, not just in 2020, but 2024 and on into the future. Everybody at these companies is really young, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And if they lose again, which I think they're going to in 2020, they're just going to re-triple their efforts. So the regular channels are not going to be available to most conservatives and Christians. It's just they're simply not going to be available. Now it's tough, but they're simply not going to be available. And that's what I think we should do. I think we should think about going back channel. We can think about answering our email. We can't be like me, who a couple of years ago I had 11,000 unanswered emails in my inbox. 11,000. Now we're going to have to communicate through email. We're going to have to open our cell phones up to texting. And we're going to have to do something crazy. We're going to have to go back to websites. And this is going to be interesting because if we talk about the Project Veritas video that got throttled, taken down off of YouTube. Now it wasn't salacious. There was no cursing. There was no nudity. There was no hate speech. There was none of that. It was just Google admitting to Project Veritas that it was going to be their job to prevent another Trump. That's all. It was just truth. Veritas means truth, and that's all there was. And it exposed Google. And if it was on YouTube, Google said, "No, you know, we're not going to have something that exposes us on our own channel, on our own, in using our own resources. We're not going to take our own hand and take the dagger and shove it into our own hearts." So they decided that they were going to take that down. Now, there are still channels by which you can see the video. I'm going to put the video, links to the video itself. It's on another platform. I'm going to put that in the in the comments, and I'll put it down there in the description here on the program, on Spreaker and on Blog Talk Radio. So, and I'm going to put it on Anchor too, so you can see it there too, because this is going to be the way forward. Back channel is the way forward until conservatives can decide that they're either going to choose a, quote, Facebook or Twitter alternative, or raise money, lots of money, and buy one of these entities. Simply purchase them, buy them out, and then change the culture. This is the advice that I got from Andrew Breitbart. The way to change MSNBC is to buy them, fire everybody, start again. And now the way to change CNN is to buy it and then change the culture. Maybe possible, maybe not possible. But what we have to do, my friends, we've got to, without a doubt, start going back channel, and start going back channel faster than you thought. Start not getting so upset with receiving some emails from people that you may or may not have thought about communicating with. Going to websites and not expecting all your information to come from Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, all the regular social media apps that we all have on our cell phones, might actually have to go to a website. Now, some of the content producers are going to have to be good with sharing their material on other people's websites. So Project Veritas is going to have to be good with me having their video on my website, and they're going to have to be good with you having their video on your website. They're going to, all these people are going to have to be good with having their content easily shared. Now, none of this content comes cheap, which is why a lot of people are upset about YouTube, killing their monetization. It ain't like YouTube ain't getting paid. It ain't like the money's coming from YouTube. The money is coming from advertisers. So this is disturbing. So what's going to start have to happen is that a lot of the content producers, things like Project Veritas and PragerU, we're simply going to have to start supporting directly. We're going to have to start supporting them directly. That's all. And that's going to be able to fund their work. Otherwise, their work will disappear. through shadow banning, through just outright banning. They're not going to be able to get enough videos up to pay for what they do. So if we want it, and we do, I'm telling you, we do, we're going to have to start supporting it financially. And those of us who have the wherewithal to get, to have a platform for those videos to show up are going to have to start doing that and start sharing it through our own email channels. So we're going to have to go back channel. And I think that first of all, it's necessary, and I think it's entirely possible, and I think it can be entirely effective. One of the things that I liked about the Tea Party movement was that I sort of thought it was like an amoeba. There wasn't any real head to it. There wasn't any real organization to it, but it just sort of spread. And the amoeba would have little portions of it pop off and become amoebas and go this direction and that direction. And I think that this is the way that this could work. And it's the way that it has to work, because if there's an obvious head and there's an obvious methodology, other than just everybody just do the best you can, go full tilt boogie in the direction that you're going, then it'll be easier for those who own internet ISPs to throttle back our content as well. But in the meantime, we got to go hard, and we got to go hard right now. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more thoughts about this right after these messages.